Hi, Takesha.
Hey, Jim.
How are you?
I'm good.
Takesha, I have tonight's BEO order for Richmond Memorial Hospital. I need you to set their dinner for
Okay.
the Quig Grill.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Jim. I don't know what to do. What should I do? How do I do this?
All right, Takesha, when you first come into a room, okay, you have to check your BEO order. So let me see that, okay? And you have to determine what kind of linen we use, because that's the first thing we're going to put on the table is the linen, okay? And today we have standard linen, but we also sometimes have specialty linen. Okay. And we'll talk about that later. But for right now, what we need to do is grab some of the ivory linen, and we've got some of that back here. Okay.
Jim, which one do I use?
Takesha, you have two sizes. One is shaped square and one is a rectangle. The square tablecloth is actually for a rectangular table. Okay. It is a 54 by 120, so we don't use that on round tables.
Okay.
This is our standard linen for round dinner tables, okay? It's rectangular shape, but when you open it up, it will actually be a square. It's a 90 by 90 tablecloth, okay? And what I want to point out to you is that there's a hem side and a finish side. We want to make sure that the hem side is down, okay? And often there's a size tag on the back size here that will tell you what you do. So how do you throw it on the table? Well, there's a specific way. We want to make sure that we cover the legs, okay? And when the tablecloth is on, it will fall correctly over the table. Just slide that a little bit, okay? Now, that kind of covers the table. And with this tablecloth, as you can see, it doesn't go all the way to the floor. It's got about a 9 to 10 inch drop all the way around the table, except where the legs are, where it will hide and cover the legs. Takesha, the first thing we're going to put on the table is sugar and creamer, and they're going to go at the 6 o'clock position in the center of the table. The creamer is going to be always on the right. And the reason we do that is because most people are right-handed. So when people are sitting on this edge of the table, they will reach out with their right hand, and we want that to be on the right-hand side. And that makes it easier for them to reach as well as pass to the other guests. Okay? The next thing we're going to grab is salt and pepper. Okay? And very similar, we're going to put the salt and pepper, but the salt is going to be on the right side for these guests, because why? They're right-handed. Most people are right-handed, and they're going to reach out. So on this side of the table, the opposite side, we're going to make it the opposite, okay? So they'll be salt will always be on the right side, depending on which side of the table you're on, okay? And they'll go at the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock position, and they should always be full. Never put a partial salt and pepper shaker on the table. The next thing we have is sugar caddy. The sugar caddy goes at the 12 o'clock position. And notice that I put the pink to the left over here, okay? Because it will always go in that position, because when you're sitting on this side of the table, it will be on the guest's right-hand side. Sweet and low is the most frequently used sweetener. And so that's why it is in that position. And every table should be exactly the same. They should never deviate. And what we've left is a little bit of space for flowers. Occasionally we will use a mirror and put it as a base, but not always. And that's where we start from, okay? So we've left a little bit of room for the flowers when they arrive. Takesha, I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to set a table correctly and how important it is when we put the silverware down. First of all, this silverware has been put through the dish machine twice. and it gets washed, and then it gets sanitized by the high heat of the dishwasher at 180 degrees. But in addition to this, we also dip this in an iodine solution to make sure that there is no bacteria whatsoever on the silverware. We use this silverware over and over again. Each guest, we want to make sure we go the extra step to make sure that each guest gets a sanitized fork, because you wouldn't want something that you didn't know about where it's been, and I can assure you these have been in everybody's mouth hundreds of times. Takesha, when you set the table, what you need to do is really kind of stand behind the chair, like that. We want to make sure that we set our silverware within the width of the chair, okay? So we're going to start off with a salad fork and a dinner fork. And it should be a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off the table. And we do not stagger the silverware because the salad fork has a natural stagger. The next we're going to put down the knife and a spoon. Again, remember we're going to be just a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off the edge of the table within the width of the chair. Now notice that the blade side is in. We do not want any blades facing out. They go in, okay? And we set always with a single knife. Some places will do a double knife, but our standard is a single knife. The next thing we have to determine, we have, as you read their menu, they have a salad, they have a beet salad, they have chicken, and their dessert is going to be a pumpkin pie tonight, okay? So you have to look at what their dessert is to determine what we need for a dessert fork or spoon. Sometimes we'll use both, okay? But on this case, we're going to use a dessert fork, which is the same as a salad fork. It's a short fork. And how do you know which direction to put it in, okay? If it comes from this side, it will go up and over. If it's a spoon, it would go up and over in this direction, okay? And how do you know which order? Which one goes first? The spoon or the fork? Typically, the order is knife, fork, spoon. Okay. Knife, fork, spoon. And where does that expression comes from? Because we're going to have a bread and butter plate with a knife. Then we're going to have fork and then the dessert spoon. So knife, fork, spoon is the traditional thing. Forks are always on the left, with one exception, and we don't have that exception tonight, but something to remember. The only time we would have a fork on the right-hand side would be if it was a fish fork. Okay? Occasionally we'll have a fish fork, and if we did, we would place the fish fork, which is smaller than this, and we'd drop it on this side. Okay? And people work from the outside in with their silverware. So we place it in that order. So we'll have a dessert fork tonight, and so therefore that's going to go up there, okay, in that direction, okay? The next thing you're going to do is a bread and butter plate. Now the bread and butter plates go above the fork. Now how do you determine that? The industry secret was if you held your fingers up like this, two circles, you now have a B and a D. That's going to be for your bread and butter. This is going to be for your drink. Okay, so your drinks are over here and your bread and butter is over here. So the guest knows that this bread and butter plate is for this person, and this one will be for this guest. Okay? You've got your B&B plate over the fork, the butter knife. Which way does it go?
Up and over?
It would be up and over because the knife's on this side, so it comes up and it goes across the plate like this. It would be similar to this, okay? Some places put it on the right, but our standard is always to the top because everything above the dinner plate will go horizontally. Okay? Our flowers have arrived, and they go in the center of the table, and the size and shape will vary depending on what the guests have ordered. okay? These are just seasonal flowers and in a bubble vase tonight. Other times there might be a high or a low, but they'll always go to the center of the table. Let me explain to you how we put butter or preset the table with butter.
Okay.
Okay? Our butter rosettes, okay? At lunch we use 1.
Okay.
At dinner we use 2.
Okay.
Okay? The butter rosettes always go on the left-hand side. Okay? Just like this. Okay? Leaving the right space for the server to serve the bread. The server would take bread and offer it to the guests, drop it on the plate, and go to the next guest. Okay? So that's why when we preset the table with butters, okay, the butter is always on the left, the roll is on the right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put down water in wine glasses. And when we put these down, we just want to make sure we wipe them before they go down, make sure we look at them, that there's no lipstick on there and stuff, which there might be for occasionally, okay? We don't want to have any water spots on our glass, okay? We want it to look perfect. When you set your water glass down, the water glass always goes over the spoon, always. Even if we were offering tea, if this was a tea glass, okay, what we would do, we'd have water in front and tea over the knife, okay? Water is universal and it's always first up, always. We have wine glasses this evening. And so a wine glass will go over the knife, okay? Like that. Sometimes when we have wine, we may have more than one wine glass, okay? It depends on the level of service the client has requested from us, or a level of importance or other things. They may have a champagne glass, they may have a red wine glass, or white. Tonight, we're going to use water in one wine, and this glass will be a universal wine. It'll be for red or white. Sometimes in a more formal occasion, we will offer a red wine glass separate, or they may actually have a champagne glass, depending on what the event order requested. The only thing left or missing right now from the table being preset is the napkin. And we have to determine what kind of fold it will be. Sometimes the manager or the banquet captain will determine which fold. Sometimes it will actually be stated in the BEO order. Ours does not, so it leaves us our discretion. We use 3 standard folds, and I'm going to show you all 3 now. Takesha, the first fold we're going to do is a very simple fold, okay? It's a standard triangle fold, okay? And the key to this is always have a square, one side. Sometimes the napkins are not perfect. This one is pretty good shape. But if it was uneven, what you'd want to do is you want to come over and at least get one square edge.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to try to get one good edge, okay? And then we'll work from that good edge to determine how we would build something if it was crooked.
Okay.
Okay? So we've got a triangle. We're just going to make a quick triangle. We're going to continue to make triangles. We're going to take our good edge and put it up. We're going to bring the bad edge and we're going to adjust it slightly. And you can do that by opening that up a little bit. Fold it back, fold it again into another triangle, and then like this, okay? And what we have, you would put it down with the point facing the guest. Fold that we use is what we call a bird of paradise, okay? We're going to take it and create a square. Okay, now we have a square. We're going to take the ends. This is the open side, so we want that up at the top, or at, in our case, 12 o'clock here. We're going to take the 2 sides, we're going to fold them in like that.
Okay.
Give them a little press. Fold it in half and back.
Okay.
Okay, and when we put it down, what we'll do is we'll peel it back. 1, 2, 3. Okay?
Okay. That's
Okay.
nice.
Our third fold that we use frequently is called a butler's fold.
Okay.
Okay? For this, we want to make sure, you see how they has a hem on this one? We want to make sure the hem is up because we're going to fold it in.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to come a third this way, and then bring this one a third this way. And we want to make sure, the key to this is we want to make sure that we have a good edge over here. Okay? Then we're going to turn it towards us. We're going to take this end and fold it up about 2 inches.
Okay.
Crease it. Then we're going to take the middle, we're going to bring it down and fold it, leaving about 1 inch here. We're going to take the top and fold it about 1 inch, and then fold it again. Let's see. Okay. Like that. And now it's this would be a very casual fold, maybe for a lunch or a breakfast. This is for something a little bit more upscale. This is something that we'd use in a more formal setting. Now that we have the napkins down to Keisha, it's virtually a set table, with the exception we're just going to pull these forward slightly, just like that. Okay, can you help me do those? Sure. All right. All right. Good job, all done.